Hi everyone, my name is Katie Fromholt. I am a teacher at Heiser. I am currently in the 3-year-old classroom. Over my 12 years at Heiser, I have been placed in kindergarten with the 4-year-olds and now I'm with the 3s. I've been there for 8 years. I also taught with my mom at Heiser. Her name is Gail Massey. Some of y'all may remember Miss Gail. We taught together for 3 years before I had my little boy. His name is Brody. Brody was born with a bilateral hearing loss. He had a profound loss in both ears, and at 15 months, he received cochlear implants. Brody is now in 3rd grade. He is doing great in Shelby County schools. A little bit about myself. My husband and I have Brody, and we also have a little girl named Ella Jo who is 4 years old, and we have a corgi named Bear Bryant. This year, as you can see, I'm teaching from home because JCPS is on NTI. So we are doing online learning. As you can imagine, that has been very challenging for not only having students with hearing loss, but having preschoolers with hearing loss. Out of my students this year, I have 1 student returning who was in my classroom for about 2 months before we went on the NTI break in March. And then I have 2 students that started school during NTI, and everyone else is brand new to school and they just turned 3. So it is definitely a challenge on figuring out how to engage a 3-year-old over NTI beyond just showing YouTube videos, which they love. So I put out a plea to all my Facebook friends and it has been shared, and I know some people watching this video have donated, and we are so thankful for your help so far. We also have more items that still need to be purchased. Some of those items include the books that we read. Every student has their own copy of the story time that we have. So if we are reading Brown Bear, everybody has a copy of Brown Bear, and we have found that this keeps them way more engaged than they were in the spring when it was a very big struggle. We also include different items to go with our Foundations for Literacy kits. Foundations for Literacy is a reading curriculum designed specifically for deaf and hard of hearing students, preschool students specifically. A couple years ago, we did a pilot program at Heiser, and we were able to go get trained through Georgia State University where the curriculum was made. So each of the units in the reading curriculum work on 1 sound. Some of them work on 2. We do experience stories with them, which is kind of our old school approach to deaf and hard of hearing teaching, where we act out what we're doing and we put the kids in the visual so that they understand and they have something to connect the experience to. So for example, when we're studying about farm animals, we have a farm puzzle. They also have little farm animals that they can hold in their hands that we can pretend to make the sounds for, that they can learn the signs for and everything. So thanks to generosity that we have already received, and hopefully a few more, we have a sound puzzle for each of them. When they take out the puzzle piece, it makes the sound of the animal. So we work on listening skills and auditory skills. When they have the actual animals in their hand, they can feel them, they can touch them, they can be engaged while we are learning our lessons. We also do different sounds, like I said. So when we are learning the E sound at school, we would go down the slide outside and say, wee, as we go down, and each kid would take a turn. Not everyone has a playground in their backyard, and not everyone has an accessibility to a park close to them that's safe right now. So we found slides. Little Peppa Pig going down the slide. So when we do our lesson in a few weeks, they can take the pig and they can put it down the slide and say, wee, and we can act it out, helping them connect that sound. We also have a doctor kit for each kid. When we work on our ah sound, we talk about going to the doctor and how you have to open your mouth so they can look inside and say ah. This is another experience story to work out. This one is a little far-fetched sometimes, but we learned the sound for you, and they lift up a 10-pound bag of sugar, which my 3-year-olds work on a 1-pound bag because that's heavy enough sometimes to lift it up, and they say, it's heavy. Well, we tie that into a tea party. So they each will get a tea party set to work on that engagement. They can have a tea party with us while we're on our video conference each morning, and then they can do it and tie it into their family routine at night so that they can work on that sound throughout their day to help remember it. That's how we do it with the 3s. When they move on to the 4s, they start tying those sounds that we learned and the vocabulary we learned in the 3-year-old classroom to reading and sounding out words. And then by kindergarten, they're already reading, which is where deaf and hard of hearing kids normally struggle. Reading is a big struggle. We also are doing math manipulatives. We were able to sort out different math items to keep them engaged, to help with counting, doing boards to put things on to help count. And then our story times, like I said. So we have the books. Last week, my class did If You're Happy and You Know It. So we were able to give each kid a book to help with the engagement. We also have books still needed for upcoming weeks and different items still needed. So you can find that on the wish list. Let's see, what else should I go over? I think that's about all. Throughout the day, I'm going to show you different parts of NTI, things that we are having to adapt right now because we don't know when JCPS is going back. So hopefully we can get back in the classroom, but we also have to be ready to have our students engaged in learning. You'll also see me work one-on-one with a student and a little bit of some classwork too. Thanks for watching, and thank you for supporting Heiser.